People used to treat me like I was invisible, a mere background actor in a lavish play, destined to serve and never to shine. Victoria Blackwell was that person, a millionaire mother wrapped tightly in the expectations of wealth and status. But all I saw was a woman too blind to see the brilliance hiding in her own son. The day I walked into that sterile $40 million mansion and found Oliver, her 7-year-old autistic son, absorbed in language lessons, was the day everything changed. At first, Victoria's reaction was steeped in scorn. She questioned my intentions with a gaze dripping with contempt, viewing me as an interloper experimenting on her broken child. Yet, beneath my calm demeanor lay a storm of unrecognized potential. I was Lana Santos, a housekeeper with a PhD in linguistics, bringing a forgotten passion to light while battling her rigid worldview. Take. As the weeks passed, Oliver and I formed a bond, a spark igniting a connection that pushed against the boundaries Victoria enforced. I saw his intellect blossom, hidden behind the layers of misunderstanding. Each word he learned, each smile he offered, shattered the glass cage of expectations. But as the mother witnessed her son's transformation, her perspective began to shift. The moment she saw Oliver switching between languages was a turning point. Overwhelmed by her past arrogance, Victoria was forced to face her limitations, igniting the ember of redemption in her heart. Perhaps together, we could teach Oliver not just to communicate, but to thrive. So we set out on a journey, a mother and a housekeeper, forging an unbreakable bond in the name of understanding it all. Together we learned that worth comes not from riches, but from recognizing the incredible capabilities in everyone, regardless of their circumstances. Victoria Blackwell stormed into the room, her heels clicking ominously on the marble floor. "What do you think you're doing?" she demanded, her eyes narrowing as she took in the sight before her. Lana Santos, the housekeeper, was knelt in front of her son, Oliver, who was repeating words in Spanish, his face lighting up with an enthusiasm Victoria had never seen. "I'm teaching him, Miss Blackwell," Lana replied calmly, her voice steady despite the tension. "Oliver has the potential to learn." "Ambiguous?" Victoria laughed, but it was a cold, sharp sound that cut through the air. "He's broken, Lana. You're wasting your time. He can't learn languages." Her disdain hung heavy between them, each word dripping with condescension. Lana straightened her back, refusing to back down. "With the right support, he can thrive. I know he can." "Support?" Victoria's voice rose, laced with venom. "You think you're qualified? You're just a housekeeper, not some doctor. Stay in your lane. He needs structure, not your whimsical ideas." Oliver flinched at his mother's harshness, retreating slightly. Lana's heart ached, but she kept her composure. "I have a PhD in linguistics, Victoria. I see what you refuse to." "Oliver is not broken. He's brilliant." "Brilliant?" Victoria shot back, eyes flashing. "You want to fill his head with nonsense? I will not have you experimenting on my son." As Victoria turned to leave, Oliver looked up at Lana, his eyes wide and frightened. "Mama, I can learn," he whispered softly, a glimmer of his newfound voice breaking through the suffocating silence. Victoria paused, but her face hardened as she left. "You're dismissed, Lana. Enough of this nonsense. Please, just give him a chance," Lana called after her, desperation in her voice as the door shut, leaving her in the growing darkness of misjudgment and lost potential. Stood in the doorway, her heart pounding in her chest. The lavish room, filled with expensive decor, suddenly felt suffocating as she watched Lana kneeling on the floor, Oliver surrounded by bright flashcards depicting various languages. A mix of shock and contempt washed over her. She barely restrained her outburst. "What do you think you're doing with my son?" The words slipped out, acidic and sharp. Lana looked up, calm amidst the storm, her eyes like a mirror reflecting Victoria's harshness. "I'm teaching him," she said simply, as if the answer was obvious. Victoria scoffed, her mind racing, tethered to the belief that Oliver was broken. The notion that he could learn, speak, was unacceptable. "Oliver can't learn," she asserted, her voice rising. "Do you really think this is helping him? You're just experimenting." She spat out the accusation, sure of her righteousness. But Lana remained steady, a quiet defiance rising within her. "He's not broken," she replied, a hint of emotion breaking through her composed facade. "He has potential. Maybe you're just not seeing it." Each word seemed to peel back layers of Victoria's tightly wound veneer, anger battling with the inkling of uncertainty simmering beneath her disdain. Lana's calm understanding of Oliver was a stark rebuke to her protective distance, a challenge that unsettled her. Victoria turned away abruptly, but as she walked out, doubt slithered in. Outside, the world continued to rot in near silence, gilded frames surrounding a hollow center. Perhaps she didn't know her son as well as she thought. The frustration inside her began to build, mixing with a burgeoning realization. Maybe she was the one who needed to change. Each day, Lana's presence chipped away at her convictions, and she felt a shift. The energy crackled. Something was about to break. Victoria stood in the grand foyer, her breath hitching at the vibrant laughter echoing from Oliver's playroom. The sight of Lana seated on the floor with her son, flipping through a colorful dictionary, ignited a tumult of emotion she had long suppressed. "What do you think you're doing?" she demanded, her voice cold yet trembling. Lana looked up, her expression serene. "Teaching him languages, Victoria. He's learning more than you realize." "I don't need your experiments on my child," Victoria shot back, the words heavy with years of denial. Witcher her gaze, unwavering. "He's not broken. Oliver is brilliant. I can prove it." Victoria scoffed, but a flicker of doubt crept in. "You don't know what it's like to have a child like him?" "Perhaps not," Lana replied softly. "But I see his potential. It's what I studied for years." Approached chattering in a mix of languages that tumbled out effortlessly. The sight struck Victoria like a bolt. Her son was thriving in ways she had never believed possible. "Stop this!" Victoria's voice cracked, yet her facade began to erode. "Let's give him a chance," Lana urged. "He needs support, not restrictions. Just one small step forward can make a world of difference." Victoria hesitated, her walls crumbling with every syllable. What if I allow it?" Lana offered a small, encouraging smile. "Then we can nurture his gift together." With newfound clarity, Victoria took a deep breath, the vision of a hopeful future for Oliver emerging like sunlight through clouds. "All right, let's try it your way." A small victory, but it marked the beginning of a transformative journey. Victoria Blackwell strode into the sun-drenched living room, her designer heels tapping against the marble floor. But the moment she spotted Lana Santos crouched beside Oliver, her heart sank. The housekeeper, usually relegated to the shadows of the mansion, was engrossed in animated conversation with her son, the air thick with the melodious cadence of foreign languages. Shock twisted into contempt on Victoria's face. "What are you doing?" she snapped, the words cutting through the moment like a knife. "He can't learn. He's broken." Lana looked up, her face a study in calm as she gently brushed back Oliver's hair. "I see so much in him," she replied, her voice steady. "He's not defined by your fears, Victoria." The damning ball of privilege and arrogance that had long protected Victoria began to crack as a quiet realization dawned. Frustration bubbled within her, yet there was something in Oliver's eager expression that stirred an uncomfortable doubt. She turned away, boiling over in indignation, but inside her brewing feelings of helplessness coiled tighter. Days passed, and the gulf between them widened. Victoria doubled down on her punitive measures, forcing Lana back into the confines of her station. Yet the glimmers of hope remained. Oliver thrived despite his mother's dismissiveness, slowly weaving together words and languages unknown to her. Then came the confrontation. Lana stood her ground against Victoria's outburst in the kitchen, revealing her hidden past as a linguistics expert. "You've been blind to his potential," she insisted, voice trembling yet resolute. And just as she finished, Oliver entered, confidently mixing languages at the sound of his name, each word blooming in the air, proof of Lana's unwavering belief. Victoria's hardened facade shattered. Staring at her son, joy furiously battled against her preconceived notions. Slowly she shifted, guilt swelling within her. "I was wrong," she breathed, tears pooling in her eyes. Days turned into weeks and the cold opulence of the mansion transformed. Victoria, humbled and inspired, extended an olive branch to Lana, offering her a position dedicated to mentoring Oliver. An unspoken bond forged through mutual respect began to flourish. Months later, the echoes of laughter profoundly filled the once still halls. Their YouTube channel, Learning with Oliver, showcased the beauty of collaboration, drawing a community eager for change. Victoria, now a proud advocate of neurodiversity, stood alongside Lana, whose wisdom radiated as brightly as the morning sun. As their partnership blossomed, the world witnessed a story of triumph, not through revenge, but through the redemptive power of understanding. And in that mansion, Oliver's laughter echoed lessons of acceptance, creating ripples that reached far beyond their walls, a silent clap resonating in every viewer's heart for the beauty of transformation. Battleground reflect on the whirlwind of the past few months. I can't help but marvel at how far we've come. The mansion, once a place of cold silence, now buzzes with laughter and multilingual conversations. I often think back to that moment of confrontation with Lana, standing rigidly in my own misconceptions and fears. Could I have seen past my arrogance sooner? Through our shared journey, both Oliver and I learned the true meaning of connection and acceptance. Watching Oliver thrive has reshaped my understanding of potential. I once saw his autism as a limitation, but now I grasp the depth of his abilities and the power of nurturing, not just for him, but for all children who struggle against preconceived notions. So I pose this to you. Do you think I went too far? What would you have done in my situation? Have you ever had someone treat you like I treated Lana? I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments, your own stories and reflections. Let's engage in this vital conversation about the complexities of understanding, power, and justice together.